You mentioned you've undergone 2 knee replacements, both knees, not related to running. But can you talk about that experience, what it was like before you had the surgery and what your life's been like since?
Yeah, so my knee, I got an infection in my right knee, and it was brutal. Basically, this infection got in there and ate away much of the knee joint, and they had to put a new knee in. And then my other one, I was in a bad farming accident and had to have that replaced after 23 years. But the knee replacement surgery itself is a piece of cake because you're sound asleep.
Sure.
It's the 6 weeks following. I'll be honest with you. Listen, I've been in the hospital a lot with various accidents and replacing body parts and rods and wires and things like that. But the rehabbing from the knee replacements, it's brutal. I mean, because here's what, basically the day of your surgery, they're getting you up later that day,
Wow.
Walking. And the key is to get that full range of motion back as much as you can, to be able to straighten that knee completely out and to bend it back as far as you can. And let me tell you, scar tissue builds up in there quickly. After surgery, everything's inflamed, so it's very difficult, and it hurts. I mean, you're in tears some days, but if you do the work and work through that, like for me now, I've got full range of motion. They don't bother me. My knees feel so much better than they did before I had them, because it got to the point where it was bone on bone, and that just was brutal. It was, the little bit I could run, every step I took, it hurt. And so, it was, when I had my first knee done, after about 3 weeks of not sleeping or very little, being in constant pain, doing the rehabbing, I'm thinking, why'd I have this done? But then I got over the hump, and then everything started feeling good. When I had my left one done, I knew what to expect, and that made a little bit of a difference. And so I knew if I just keep working with it, it'll eventually get better, and now they feel great.
What's the life expectancy of your knees?
Well, 15
and does running change that?
Well, that's a good question. 15 to 20 years is, they say, what the average person should get under normal use.
Okay.
Now, every orthopedic surgeon will say, don't run. My orthopedic surgeon told me the same thing, don't run because it could wear your knees out quicker. Well, I had my knees done in my early and mid-50s, and so I thought, well, gosh, if I live into my 70s or 80s or hopefully beyond, whether I run or not, I'm going to have probably new knees again anyhow. And I so love to run, and I thought, I'm going to just see. And if I get out there and I run and my knees just constantly hurt, or something happens, I have to have a revision, then okay, I'll ride a bike or row a boat or something. Well, now, after I've had one knee in for 4 years and the other one over 2 years, and I'm running anywhere from 70 to 90 miles a week, and I go in every 6 months back to my doctor for x-rays. And I was there about 3 months ago. He says, Dick, he says, they look like the day I put him in. And now he's on board. And now he's thinking, maybe people can do more on these things than originally thought. Now, again, he told me, he said, there's 2 reasons I think that are helping you. Is one, you don't have any excess weight, which makes a difference. And then that whole back to the forefoot running without getting quite as much, shock going up into there and stuff. So we'll see what happens. And I told him, I said, hey, I'll be your guinea pig. And if I could be out running tomorrow and all of a sudden I hear a clink and, there goes the knee, and I'll be the first to say, hey, you know what? I guess I messed it up. But until that happens, I'm enjoying my running like never before. So.
Sure.